Hi all, I thought I'd just do a video and just for a few people I know, it's not going out to general pulp. But what I thought I'd talk about is people maybe who are looking at a little bit more long-term trading. Like, I try to do things in the zone around the 15, even the 1 minute if I'm scalping. And by scalping just means picking up short-term profits and that. So just riding these waves here. And I'll quickly explain the lines if I haven't explained it already. But you can see the red line here is basically the last 5 periods of 1 minute. The green line is the last 15 minutes, last 15 periods of 1 minute. So we count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it's taking the average of that 15 on the green line. And then we've got the 50 and the 100 and the 200. And why are these important? These are pretty much what most bots and most analysts use to date these time frames. So as you can see at the moment, Phantom, which on my main account I'm pretty heavily invested in, and I'll show you why. I believe this coin is the next one that's going to go nutso. So we'll have a look at. So one of the investments I've got in there is in a new account. So I've got a couple of these at the moment. So I've got $1,600. I've got 1,000 FTM at the moment in this one, and I've got in my main account I've got another 1,000 as well. So why do I keep them separate? Because it helps with liquidation and stuff like that. So and also I could diversify a bit more, but that's something else. So we'll just go back to video trading, and so we can keep that. Well, you can keep that on here because you can watch what happens as things happen here. So we've also got some other indicators here we use, which is called MACD, which don't worry about. It just means that moving average conversion divergence. It's just waffle basically. So it's basically the relationship between two periods here, which we've chosen 12 and 26, which is in between these, just to give us another two reading. But you can see they pretty line up almost spot on with crossovers here. And why they call it divergence is that what you're looking for when you're buying is obviously these to be in the positive growth here, or if you're doing a short sell, which means you're trying selling for profit. So that would be, we do a sell over here and we'd sell a specific amount. You would go, so the crossover here and the crossover here shows the 5 period and the 15 crossing. That's the first one, the first indicator that it's moving upwards. So this is a good time to take the buy. Ultimately, yeah, you say, well, we should be taking the buy here, but we really don't know whether we've hit rock bottom or not at this stage. So it is because you'll see that in a few others as you go along, and it repeats itself all the way along the line here. You see, probably could have took the trade here, saying we know, but if we go down to the divergence line here, that's when it's saying we should be taking the trade. So by the divergence here, we could have taken the trade here. If we wanted to be extra cautious and make sure that we're not going to be in a loss position, we would have took the trade here. And coming across here, you can see the divergence down almost lines up there. So we could have took it up the top here if we wanted to, if we weren't sure whether it was going to keep going. So we wouldn't have made quite as much money, but we still would have made a profit each time. Um, that happens with just absolute regularity. And I'm really bullish on Phantom at the moment, and I'll show you why once we switch to the 1 day trend. As you see here, this is the RSI, which is the relative strength index. So it's basically the purchasing power. What we say is anything above this dotted line, it's above 70, it tends to be oversold. It's usually a good sign we need to get rid of the product. So you can, and this is a short-term market here. So you see that it's oversold here. I'll give you an example where it doesn't always work like this, which is Sol, which has been going nuts lately. So we would, if we had have looked at that, the RSI, a couple of close crosses here, we might have said that would be a great place to take a trade. And the same here. We look at here, it's just touched here, now it's heading down, which is fine. I'm going to go into loss period. I know that because once it starts hits this green bar here, it'll go down the 50, the 100, the 200. What we're hoping is, if we're looking at the graph here, is we're looking at a gentle growth up all the time. So each low is a little bit higher each time. Doesn't always work, but I'll tell you why I am super bullish about it. As you see, there's a little bit of a reversal just happening at the moment. So if we go into we'll go to the 1 day. So what I always recommend is always move out to see different pictures. So you can move out to the 5 minute mark, and the same thing occurs in a longer period of time. So I'll just zoom in a little bit more for you. Gives you a bit of an idea. So again, we've got the red line crossing here. I always tend to work on once it's crossed. If you've got a green afterwards, you tend to always have a lift. If you've got a red afterwards, it could mean it's just a false flag, for want of a better word. So again, if we look at the divergence here, we've got some divergence. We could have took that trade right there if we wanted to. If we wanted to be safe, we wait till here. We'd have a nice run up here, and it's still saying to hold at the moment. So it's in the 5-minute mark, it's saying, so it's a bit longer term. 15 minutes for day traders is pretty common. And you'll see on here, same sort of thing. We would have took the trade at 158. The divergence here is telling us to take it at here, which would have been right, or that cross period there. You see the little dot that comes up, and we would have followed that all the way up through the 50 average, and just about hit the 200 average, which is maybe why we're starting to see it hold a little bit here, which is what we want. Pulling it right back out to the we'll go 1 hour first to show you. 1 hour might be a little bit longer frame that you're looking for. You can see again, on this one, it's just holding. I'll just set this up so it's a little bit clearer. But it's still saying that we should be holding the trade at the moment. I'll spread that out a little bit. But you can see the red's just ticked over the green. So if we were trading on the hourly, same period, we still would have took it at 158.8. The divergence here is saying we should have took it back here, which is right. But it did cross down here again, so it would have said we would have sold here. But the divergence is saying we shouldn't, so it was right on the edge. Or if you could have probably held if you wanted to. But if you had took it, you would have took a little bit of a profit. You would have took from 156 to 158. So was it 156, 880 to 158, so about 2 cents. So if you got 1,000, 2 cents, it's $20. But and obviously that's over an 8 hour, so it's not a lot of money. So obviously the bigger this pool is, the more you're going to make on it, and the longer you hold it as well. So now for longer term trading. So if you're looking at hodling or holding for as long as you like, we'll go to the daily one, and we'll just set this up so it all looks nice. Now the daily one's telling us to take it right back here. If we had to took it back here, which is $1.25, which is exactly where, if we took it there and just held $1.24, had to set a stop loss at somewhere around $1.15, or we might have even been bringing it around here to make sure we were right. I would have waited here for the cross, and you see it actually says in the divergence here to take it here. So, but I would have thought it's still a bit early. We just don't know what's happening with Bitcoin at this time, which we'll go and look at Bitcoin as well in a second, because there's some interesting things there to look at. We'll cross over there, and I waited for a green afterwards. A green signals to me that we're in a bullish market, then, so which we did. We had a bullish turn up here, and you can freak out here and start selling off. We could have took some profits if we wanted to, but it's still saying it's on a great lift, which it is. And again, same thing happened here. We could have freaked out a bit here and took it, and this is why I'm really bullish on it. If you look at, I can just I'll just adjust that a little bit. If you look at this is the 5-day period, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and this is the 50. So which is a really big number that we need to look at. So it literally is only, so it's got $1. You can look at that figure and that figure. So it says 51.51147, 1.5185. So literally only 40 cents away, or 30 odd cents away from crossing, and that still might take another day or two, because that's coming down, that's going up. So as soon as that crosses, we'll see in most cases, and I'll try and get that back into a reasonable. If we can see there with the reds, and I'll zoom in a little bit. You can see where these charts here, when the reds cross the green here, greens cross the 50 average, and the movement's up, and then the next one is the 200 on here as we're looking at. If we scroll right back to today's date, is that 200 marker. We've actually got the 100 and the 200 there as well. So that's why they're saying that this coin quite literally is heading towards $4.50, is where they believe, which if you look at its old high was around the $3.45 mark. Even that, from where we're at, is going to be a great investment over a long period. It does mean you've got to take a risk with your stop losses, and you see I've got my stop loss set at 150 at the moment. 146,995. Now, if I lose that, I'm going to lose about $100 on that. So, I've got to keep an eye on it, obviously, but I'm banking that it hasn't done that for a while, and the movement's up. So, the other one we've got to watch, obviously, with these sort of things is Bitcoin. And Bitcoin on the daily period here. This is the one concern that I have with Bitcoin just at the moment, but it is reversing a bit here. So what happened is we had a lift up here. So this is when it said we should have bought in at Bitcoin at 39. And if I zoom in here, Divergence is saying we should have bought in here, which was around the 38 mark. So, that was about right. We were down at 36s and 34s, but that was just to keep us safe, that we knew we were going to be right. And you can see what happened here. We took a big lift here and then crossed straight down. So that was that big drop we had again as well. And going back to that huge drop that we had right back at the beginning, the end of last year, it sticks out now. If we had been following this properly, which even I didn't follow it, to be honest, you get caught up in that greed cycle. The red crossed here at 63, and the green, that's a sign that definitely we've got to start selling off some of our Bitcoin. Then when the reds hit, the green, we're talking about the green, the red we're talking about, my bad. So the red's crossed here, down through the green, which is the 15-day average. It's going down, now it's crossed through the 50, definitely saying we need to unload almost. And more, again, take more profits if we take profits. As soon as it's hit here, down to 54, definitely need to unload. And this is what the bots are doing all the time, and they're using these markers to do that. And you see here, this is where we had the swing around here, and we had it retesting back up at 50K, so there was a bit of a false flag, but we could have took some profits there. But again, as soon as it hit that again at 48, bang, it's out again. It's going all the way down to the bottom here again until we get that reversal here. Now, my biggest concern here is, and I'm sorry, I'll try to slow down a little bit, is this red line. If that meets the green, we'll see a retest of around about that 42.2 marker again. So if it doesn't, if we can get it in a nice upswing, which is looking really good at the moment, then we'll see that hit. If we can get over that 200 marker, which is the 48, we'll see it hit to 52. So anyway, I hope that helps. I'll just show that in the 1 minute, because we see we're having a bit of a surge at the moment. You can see we just jumped up here to 161. So in the 1 minute, you see Bitcoin has just gone, had a massive jump, which has really helped FTM for us, which is great. FTM has gone through the roof up to 161. So I've got to stop. I don't have a take profit on it at the moment, but I'll probably take some profits at around the 190 if it gets to that. We'll see how it goes, depending on how Bitcoin's going as well. So you've really got to work in with Bitcoin and whatever you're trading at the same time. Now, if you look at Phantom at the moment, is seriously overbought. So if we wanted to take some small profits now, it'd be great. But what I'm going to do is just wait for that to come down, and I'll actually be buying some more at the moment. So I'll actually put in another, I'll probably just start with 25%, stop loss of $1.45. So I'm going to make sure I buy it. So we're just waiting on some money coming through on that one. Once that's ready to go, I'll actually buy more into that, and we'll push up, hopefully keep going through the roof, or to the moon, as they like to say. So if we just go back to that hourly, see what that's done to it. Sorry, the daily. You can see now we've got 151.60, so we're literally 26 cents away from it hitting. So it could hit today if we keep on this momentum, but I am guessing that Bitcoin will hit that 47 and retest. But maybe not. It's just had a massive spike up, which is awesome. So, all right, I hope that helps. And if you've got any questions, just drop me a line. So, all right, take care. Have a good night. Bye.